Live.
Welcome
to
the
podcast
about
powerful
stuff.
I think we nailed it, guys. I think we nailed it.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Yeah.
We still have no name.
We have no name.
How are you
Podcast
guys?
with no name, guys. It's also
it's definitely
number 2.
not about Destiny.
Yeah,
There you go.
It's
Definitely
the-
not
it's-
Destiny.
it's the one
there you
about
go. Definitely
not
not
Destiny.
Destiny.
the one withholding Destiny.
Speaking of Destiny, Pope, you went to IGN to talk about Destiny. I was kind of curious. First of all,
Yeah.
I watched the video today on their channel, and I noticed one thing really struck me was that you dressed really nicely.
Snazzy
You
Pope.
had a button-down shirt, you had a nice jacket on, Patagonia jacket, glasses, your hair looked really nice.
Yeah.
Yet you show up here every week with a T-shirt, looking like you just rolled out of bed.
Yeah, what's the deal?
Like,
What's the deal, Pope? Huh?
you know, there's a level of professionalism
I
that
don't
we
know.
expect.
You got
now.
a downgrade? When you do our podcast, you got a downgrade? Huh?
No, I mean, like, you guys are, like, hanging out with my fire team and, you know, like, in my underwear, you know, when I'm playing video games.
And IGN's
You know,
a job interview?
Basically, yeah. IGN's, like, you know.
Professional.
I don't know.
They have a
They're
studio.
professional.
There are lights.
There's lights. I mean, I walk through there and Naomi Kyle checks me out, you know? Well, not anymore because she quit, but nevertheless, there might be
So if
somebody
she was
like
there,
that.
then that would
So you're
happen.
trying to impress the ladies. Do these ladies have babies? Because we need to keep them away from it.
Now we've discovered the real root. I see.
There's many
Pope,
women there with
you have a
babies.
problem.
No, there's not. No, it's a great environment. Like the studio, I think. What was really cool is when I went there, they were doing a Friday fan day where anybody could come during certain hours and they get a tour of the studio. They have a really great environment or space there for people that are working there, play video games. They have like booths to set up for if you want to take a break from what you're doing and play a video game, you can. The biggest thing for me was that they have a on tap ice cold brewed coffee.
Love it.
And it's literally
Wow.
it's literally
God.
a tap.
Oh, now I need that.
So it's like
Applying for a
pressurized.
job as we speak.
I'm telling you. That's like,
So it's like a pressurized kegerator, and you just go
yes.
and you get
Oh, that's
ice
amazing.
brewed
Nitro
coffee.
cold brew is one of the greatest flavor of coffees that exists that is not actually flavored.
So I was trying really hard to not be. So I got some, right, and I was drinking it during the podcast, and that's what was in the mug.
Getting
there.
super
It was
hyped
just
for
this
you.
really strong coffee, and I'm sitting there sipping it, and I started to feel the rush of caffeine, and I'm like, "Holy crap! I'm going to be talking a mile a minute."
Yeah.
And so I was really
cold brew.
conscientiously like trying not to, talk to
Get
you.
excited.
I thought you were restrained on it, and you were like opening questions up for like the rest of the hosts and for. I never could say his name. Is it Grenadier Jake or Grenadier Jake?
Grenader.
Grenader Jake. Okay.
Hey, imagine it was spelled properly. And
Yeah,
then
it's
just say
not
it like
spelled
that.
properly. But Grenader Jake is hilarious. Like I was originally scheduled to be on the podcast by myself, and Destin, I guess Grenader Jake reached out to Destin and said, "Hey, I'm going to be in town." He was there on a cruise with his dad,
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
and they were on their way up to Canada or up the coast. And so, I'll stop by. I'll stop by and do a podcast if you're if you're up for it. So Destin said, "Hey, do you mind?" He called me up and he goes, "Do you mind if we have 2 guests?" And I'm like, "Hell no! Look, I'm used to having 5 people on the
Right?
podcast.
5 people is the hosts.
Yeah, and then there's a guest. Yeah. So no, it
what
was
it? 2 weeks ago we had Dado and Triple
fun.
on. It's like
I
everybody
know.
got exactly 20 seconds to talk during that whole podcast.
I know. Yeah, I guess for me it was
Yeah.
it's interesting because Destin's a different type of show. Destin has everything prepared ahead of time, and he likes to lead the conversation and then push it to people, right, to talk. So
I understand why you dressed up now. This makes sense.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Because
very
it's professional,
formal.
Yeah,
It's very formal.
Professionalism. Yes.
which we don't have, and I don't want it.
I don't think we want that. And
think we
I
could.
really
Yeah.
enjoy the environment that we have. I don't want Breyer saying, So today we're going to be talking about Far Cry 5 and its investment system. Tefty, you got a chance to play Far Cry 5 and complete it. What are your thoughts?
'Twas good.
So, you know what I mean? It's like that's not us. That's not us. But it is IGN, and it's they have a 30-minute podcast, which made it really difficult for me because I knew so much about the questions that he was asking that it was hard to synthesize and not to delve too deep into it. So it was a very interesting.
That's also why they need to be more prepared and structured, right? Because they have 30 minutes. We're kind of like
you're gonna
2
be on
hours,
soon, right?
3. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah, when we're done.
What, you're gonna be on soon, right?
Well, we're done.
You're gonna be on soon,
Yes, I am going to be on soon.
like in
I will be.
a week or so, right?
Yes.
Are you going
Yes.
to dress as nice as PopeBear?
I mean, I'm not going to be at the studio, so I'm going to be a t-shirt.
No.
Yeah.
Have you see the
No
do you
studio
see
pressure.
Do you see how they have it set up?
Yes.
It's a
on
big screen.
It's a big TV screen.
And you're zoomed in, so like you're the same size as the hosts. Have you seen that? Yeah, and so
I've seen
it's
it,
like
yeah.
you're sitting there.
That's
so
awesome.
you better,
Okay, I'll try and be fancy. Can't make promises.
Anyway, they're trying a new format to bring guests on, and I think they're doing well with it. It's definitely really shortened conversations, and it's a difficult format for me personally because I'm so used to having enough time to vet out the discussions.
Being verbose.
Right.
Verbose.
Verbose.
Well, I'll tell you, on our show, what I've found is that what my idea was going into a conversation can evolve based on the conversation and how it happens. I might go in and Patrick might convince me, you know what? That wasn't such a hot idea, or Tefty or Watts or Pope or whoever, suddenly I'm like, okay, I see the flaws in my way of thinking now that you've kind of poked holes in it. And it's my thinking on a Friday is often very different than my thinking on a Wednesday about any given topic.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
my idea gets cemented based on a conversation, right? It's like it holds up to fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ideas evolve in the discussion. It's a discussion, right? It's going back and forth, and we're like figuring out what we really do think about something. Because we'll play something, we'll have a first impression of it, we'll come onto the show with that impression.
Yeah.
But then as we talk about it, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm starting to understand why I like this thing, why I want it to be like this. So it's really good. It helps me get my ideas situated.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great platform. Flush things out, and then you realize, just like you said, you realize the holes that you didn't know were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that format, but definitely IGN's more of like reporting the news than than a discussion and opinion.
When I was doing Ding Talk, we would try to keep it to about 30 minutes, and I know from that podcast it is very difficult to get like 4 topics done in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you got to be.
Well,
you
we
gotta
have
be
an
cooking.
hour today we're going to try an IGN thing.
No way.
Ready for it? Yes.
boy.
We've got an hour to discuss. We're going to talk a little bit about IGN and my visit there.
Are you gonna give like a full on list of stuff?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And you know what we're going to do?
Here's the thing, Pope. Here's the thing.
Okay.
I think it's actually better just to segue to the next topic sequentially.
Then to give a list.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yep.
Pope during Revolver, we have 6 topics every week, and we have 2 hours to get to them. We usually get to about 4.
Yeah, because you guys are
In 2
hammered by the
hours.
time you get to the like. That's the reason why you don't finish the podcast. Not because I'm just kidding. It's because whenever the drinking,
You bring
gets
up a
to
good point.
I love your podcast,
Once
man.
again-
Wilson's
once
a
again.
good addition. I like you. You got a good chemistry there.
Wilson is one of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. He's
Wilson's
a
a
great
sweetheart.
human being.
Yeah.
He is. And it's like,
should-
you can talk to anybody in the Destiny community, and they'll know Wilson, right?
You know what
It's
we
like,
need to do?
Oh, yeah, I
is
know Wilson.
We need to bring him on the show.
Whoa,
Yeah.
whoa,
Let's
whoa,
do
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa. No.
He's so toxic. I don't know that we
He's
should really
toxic.
do that publicly. So toxic.
All right. Well, we'll have to vet that. We'll put it up for a vote. All right. So,
So IGN
Tefty.
was nice, right? Yes.
IGN was nice. It was a good
had
time.
nice
and,
Had a good time there?
they had good coffee, and Dustin took us out to lunch, and it was good. It was a good time.
I was pretty upset that you didn't get a picture of Fran's hair for me. I requested it before you went. You didn't provide. You hided, did not provided.
Yep.
Okay. You know what? I wanted to get a photo. This is the truth. I wanted to get a photo for you, and I said, so hey, I need to take a photo of you for Briar, and then he goes, oh well, wait a second. I'm gonna go hit up makeup before we go in there, because so they have literally a makeup room. Right,
Oh my goodness.
where with the lights, the lights around the thing, and he's sitting down and he's doing his makeup before the thing, and so then I just lost it. I lost track.
Boy, the more I hear about it, the more it sounds like DCP.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
He actually. I don't know if I should tell you this, but I'm going to tell you it anyway.
I think you should.
It was cold
late
in
now.
there, and Fran said that he does. It's so cold in there that he tapes his nipples so they don't pop through the shirt.
Once again, another similarity that we share.
I'm like, what are you doing? You tape your. He's like, yeah, the bumps here, and so he doesn't like that his shirt, his nipples will. It's cold in the.
Sure.
So inside scoops of IGN. That's what our listeners.
Were
get.
you cold during the podcast?
No, that's why I went there. That was my second time on the podcast, right? That's the second time I've been there. And the first time I was freezing my ass off. So I wore a Patagonia jacket this time, or a pullover, a
They
nice,
do that in like television studios so that people don't sweat, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's there's lots of lights. And
they
they
put out
had
heat.
like 4 cameras that are focused on different people.
They
and
had
different
lights
angles.
and cameers.
and lots of action.
And action?
Were there any
Holy crap.
microphones?
A microphone that was very phallic feeling.
It's the
and it was right in
SM7Bs.
front of me.
Phallic feeling.
They use the SM7Bs.
And,
I've seen it.
It had a great sound to it. When they played it back, I was like, "Oh wow!" It made my voice sound deeper, richer. They must have done something to it, because it does. I do not sound that way. I don't. They made me sound more manly, for sure. I sound like a whiny, like
If only we knew an audio engineer that could help us with that.
I know.
Yeah.
If only. If only we had
No,
someone.
not
to
ringing any
help
bells.
our
I have the
audio.
skills to get like
You got a bell? Can
the
you ring
right
it?
audio mixture. What's that?
There it is. Awesome. Perfect.
No, it's great, and it's like they had a timer, a clock, so set to 30 minutes, and so it was nerve-wracking seeing that and like flipping
That's
down
scary.
and
Count
knowing
down.
that there's
Pressure,
a
man.
time frame.
Yeah. it's
I
too
used
much
to have
pressure.
that. I had that. I think I had it for one day on my stream, like a countdown timer for when the stream would start. Yeah, that was. I ditched it
Never
immediately.
again.
Wait a minute. I'm
I am
not
not
halfway done
starting
with
on
the shit I
time.
need to get done here.
I am
It's like
my own boss.
whatever time you think you need to give yourself, you need to double it for getting the stream.
Double.
Oh,
shirt,
yeah.
right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But if it's
I
too much, like
severely
I'll wander off.
underestimate.
I get distracted by shit.
Then you start
Like,
getting,
oh,
you
shit.
start doing something else, and then it takes you even longer because you're like, oh, I got like 10 minutes. I'm gonna go do this
Make
thing.
a
And it takes
sandwich.
20 minutes.
Like, oh,
This
get food real
morning,
quick.
I was planning on
There's-
starting my stream at 11 a.m. Okay. And I told everybody I'm going to start at 11 a.m. ish. And then one of my mods started talking about, hey, we should start up a website so that we can get like, links to the 100.io group for raids and links to, like start a website that has everything kind of all inclusive, like a schedule and all that stuff. And at 11:30, I am registering a domain 30 minutes late for the start time. I'm like, oh shit.
Sounds about right.
Professional AF.
Yeah. Shout out to Mr. Goodbites, by the way. Thank you so much.
That's awesome.
He's a good guy, man.
Yeah, Goodbites is awesome.
Hell yeah.
And this is a good moment to mention that our Patreon team right now, the people that are in they're supporting us through Patreon.
You're all
I put
fired.
up- all of them. You're done. I'm gonna tell you, like it's a solid, positive group, and when I posted on there, if you're listening to this and you haven't had a chance to jump on there yet, please do. We have a topic started for feedback for the summit, the player summit, and
Perfect.
so already there's I want you guys to go in there and read it. So I'm gonna I know you guys will. We already talked about this, but definitely jump in there. It is some solid feedback, and I just love it. I love that I can read through it, and there's no salt. There's no like. It's just the positivity. Not like everything's great. It's more like this is how we can fix the game. And it's been really enlightening to read it. So if you're listening to this and you haven't jumped in there on Patreon, please do, and let us know what you think. We're definitely taking that with us as we move ahead.
Awesome.
But we are not talking about Destiny now. We are talking about Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5.
Snap.
I
Far Cry
hear
5.
Hope County.
that there's one among us that actually, unlike Witcher 3, there's one of us among us that has finished Far Cry 5.
Finished a
Before
game.
we talk, I want to have a real conversation about Witcher 3 with you, Tefty. Before we do
A genuine,
Far Cry.
a
genuine conversation.
Genuine.
You know he's been playing Far Cry too much.
What was it about that game that turned you off so hard?
Okay, on the real, I did not get turned off by it. It's as a stream game, it's intimidating because of how many hours are required in order to complete it. So I thought that I would be like, nah, I'm going to muscle through it before Destiny 2. And then Fortnite Save the World came out. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to finish Witcher 3. And so then I was
It's
like,
intimidating playing games that are that long on a stream.
it's tough.
It's rough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to stream a game that's basically going to require a month of relatively long streams to complete it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
my attention level can like get distracted heavily from that. Like a new game comes out, I'm absolutely like, oh, I'm gonna check out this new game. I like video games. They're new. Wow, that's cool. Let's play this. So
It took me a year to play through that game.
exactly a year.
It really did.
I can't stream again for a year. Well,
I can think of one.
See, a game that requires attention to the story and actually to
Right.
go through the paces and maintain the like the map knowledge and then also the story knowledge over that much time is difficult for a streamer. Unless
What's incredible about
Yes.
that game, though, Tefty, is that once you get past the initial hump, and you're right, like I think initially you're absolutely right, but once you kind of get into the rhythm of that game, what you find is that it's usually just quests that last anywhere from a half hour to an hour, and they're completely, unless you're doing mainline story quests, which are similar, they last about an hour. They're about a half hour to an hour. They're completely like a contained storyline in of themselves, where like you're investigating, say, like a werewolf, and all of a sudden you find out that this werewolf was intentionally made by the sister of his wife because she was jealous, and like it's an incredible little thing.
I played that quest.
I think in like I don't know, like
That's a
I'm
real
not trying to
thing?
convince you to
No, that's
stream
in
it or
there.
anything. It's
Now,
like
did the werewolf make love to the sister?
I
I mean, because
Not while it was
everything
a
in
wolf.
Witcher seems to be really sexualized.
yeah, I got past the
that's
unicorn.
true. It's,
Yeah, I did. The first playthrough, I got to unicorn, and then the second playthrough, I got past the unicorn, and then again, Fortnite Save the World came out, and then I was like, well, a grind is a grind. I'm gonna be playing this right now. I think
was
that's
really
my
grindy
problem
to
is that
count.
I get very tempted by grindy games, and when there's like a progression there,
Yeah.
in me, I want to see that progression. Like that's just how it is as a gamer.
yep.
So it's difficult. Like I would love to, I'd love to be able to have the attention span to maintain focus on something like Witcher 3 for like a month to 2 months, but it's tough as a streamer.
yeah.
It is tough.
Yeah.
It ended up being my like off stream game. It became like the game that I just
Right.
kind of chilled out to. It was almost like watching TV, where I could just kind of zone out and just get into the world of The Witcher.
Yeah.
It's really difficult with very long story-driven games because people can come into the stream, a month later and they're like, "What's going on?"
Exactly.
Whereas like Far
Yeah.
Cry, for example, right? You can finish that in a week, 2 weeks, however long you take, but there's
And the
still
best stuff
that
is-
that audience can watch it
Yeah.
from start to finish.
Exactly.
The most entertaining things for me in Far Cry are just like the random fucking craziness that happens in between, right?
You guys,
It's like,
I haven't played it, so tell me about it. Like, I want to, like, you
Let's do
act
it.
like
So-
you're talking to somebody who has not played Far Cry at all. How would you?
Okay, you've never played a Far Cry
What is
before.
it about in a nutshell?
All right. You've never played
Not-
Far Cry.
not to step on
Far Cry
Jazz's
games
head already.
typically have very dramatic settings with powerful villains that in some ways you can relate to. Like that's usually like one of the things that they do in Far Cry games because not only is it like an open world experience where you get to go do crazy stuff like Briar said, but there's usually a story arc in the game that really makes you feel uncomfortable at a few times, but then also makes you go, that's kind of like close to real life at some points, you know? And that's like one of the powerful things about Far Cry. Every Far Cry game is a separate story. You don't have to play Far Cry 1, 2, 3, and 4 or Primal to understand Far Cry 5. It's a completely contained story in and of itself. And you usually start out with like a bang, where it's like you go in, and in this particular one, you go in and you meet Joe Seed at his church, and you're supposed to take him in. So this is a spoiler, but really it's the very beginning of the game, so it's not really that much of a spoiler. You go in, you're supposed to take Joe Seed into custody, like it's a federal warrant for his arrest for kidnapping, because he's a cultist. He's a cult leader. And
Sweet.
And you go in, and another thing about these games is that the motion capture usually is top notch. Like both the voice acting and the motion capture, along with writing, makes you very invested very fastly, or very quickly investment. A fast investment happens as soon as you see this stuff woven together, and then it unhinges and all hell breaks loose, and then suddenly you're like, oh, how did I get into this situation? And that's usually like the beginning of a Far Cry game. And it's got a ton of open world stuff. It usually doesn't guide your hand in terms of what you should do. It's like, you could do this, you could do that, you could do this. Doesn't matter. If you want to go fishing, go fishing. You want to kill some bears because they're chasing you. You want to go befriend a bear or a cougar, go do that stuff. Like, it's really awesome. It's a fun game.
Wait, so there's cougars in there?
There's cougars.
Yeah, it takes place in Montana. So like anything you would expect to find in Montana is represented in the game.
Montana.
Like, there's pickup trucks running around. There's helicopters you can fly. There's planes you can fly. There's quads that you can ride.
So it sounds like a little like GTA. Like you could.
Yeah.
Can you jack a plane and fly it around?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can find an attack helicopter that has guns on it, and like
nice.
You might find a mission that requires you to take out 3 convoys that are kind of randomly driving around the map, and you could do it in a bunch of different ways. You could try and catch up to them on a pickup truck, jump off the pickup truck, try and land on the convoy, like and do it from on the convoy. You could set up a roadblock like in front of them. You could take an attack helicopter. There's multiple different ways. You could set up a trap where you're sniping at them, try and take out the driver so the truck crashes. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. And the game, the genius of the game is that it allows for that, and it embraces that. So you really get your personality really kind of comes through when you're playing this game. Like the most destruction possible. Do I want to do it the most stealthy possible? Lono rated me the other day, and a lot of the people who came to the chat were like, it's ridiculous how different it is watching Lono play this and watching you play this, because Lono's trying to be real stealthy and
bow and arrow.
Take advantage. Take advantage of going in and being quiet and maximizing how much money you get from taking over an encampment. Where I'm just walking in with the biggest gun I can find and just blowing shit up and chuckling the whole time.
Yeah.
And I think that's the strength of a game like this, right? Is that it has that opportunity.
Yep.
Watts, have you been playing it?
I haven't been playing Far Cry 5. I played other Far Cry games. Far Cry 3, I think, was a really good one for me. Because like you said, the villains, right? I love a good villain.
Yep.
Voss was an amazing villain. I loved him so much. And that's the strength of Far Cry games, like you said, right? They have a really good villain where they're crazy, but they say stuff and you're like, oh.
Partially relatable at the same time.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Like if I was a psychopath, this is probably something I would.
Yeah.
So are bloody violence? Not for kids.
Yeah, it's it's definitely mature. Also,
lots of cursing.
Yep, and the story content's very mature as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's typical of most Far Cries, is that it's an adult story
Definitely
with a lot of violence in there. But I was gonna say the angles that you can go in on the different missions is actually really amazing, because in Far Cry 3 I ended up going mostly stealthy because I was just all about the bow and arrow, because it's so great.
Same.
Yeah, it's just great getting the bow and arrow, and you can do that exact same thing in this game as well. But sometimes you just want to break out a giant sniper and mess people up, and then roll in with a machine gun and just blow up every explosive barrel as possible.
Yeah, you can have buddies too that help you out, and you can assign what their role is in an assault. So For instance, you could get a sniper to kind of support you from the hilltop, or you could be the sniper and have, your buddy go in and you're kind of clicking around the map to show him exactly where he needs to go, or she needs to go, or it needs to go, depending on
Peaches and
who it
Cheeseburger.
is.
Best squad
I gotta
ever.
say though, the story so far, like it started off strong, but I don't know how much I'm digging it really.
Really?
What's pulling me out, Tefty, is that like there's these points at which you just kind of get like, okay, it's time for a cutscene. You don't feel like you've necessarily been there. Like you don't feel like it's necessarily like time for a cutscene. You're maybe like halfway through, like, blowing something up, and all of a sudden, like all these dudes show up, and you are getting trank darted and starting a cutscene now. Like the game has decided, and it's happened twice to me, and apparently it happens twice for every like main character.
The XP bar.
Yeah, I know
region?
why it happens in game.
Yeah,
but it's like it just feels weird and forced in a way.
I didn't really feel that.
Inelegant.
I actually thought it
say.
made sense to me because I'm in their land. They technically own that county because they've taken it over. I'm killing their cultists, and they're like, "We have to take care of this guy, and we want to talk to him. Go trank him.
Yeah.
Go bring him in."
And then you get away.
Yeah, I mean, but that's part of the Far Cry games, in my opinion. Like, you get captured, you get away, you go do heinous stuff to them because they did heinous stuff to you, so on and so forth. I'm
looking forward to seeing the ending too, because I've heard wildly different views on the ending. Like some people love it and some people hate it.
I'm one of those people that loved it, but I thought it was good because of the story arc. Some people hate it because of what it does to the story. I won't spoil it.
All right.
Also,
the gunplay is a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. If you want there's two options at the end to get an ending.
Okay. Don't ruin it for me.
Is it like
Far Cry 3 also had a 2-option and
Yep.
Is that like
multiple
Last of
endings.
Us, where you can choose to?
Don't explain this.
Don't ruin any games.
Yeah.
Let's.
I'm
We're
not gonna
ruining
ruin it.
all the games.
But there is definitely
Just-
a more cinematic
You can choose.
ending.
I love the gunplay in this game because there's tons of guns. You can buy like more guns. There are microtransactions in this. You can either use in-game money to buy more guns, or you can use actual money to buy more guns and vehicles and stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you can buy guns with in-game money, which isn't too hard to get, honestly. Like you just gotta make sure you loot everybody that you kill.
Yep.
And then you can customize those guns too. So you can like put different sights on them, and you can put different scopes. You can, there's all sorts of cool stuff you can do. And then your character, you can get all these different abilities. There's got to be 30 or 40 different abilities that you can unlock, which is, there's a bit of customization there. So it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the game.
Yeah. It's a good game.
With the guns, let me ask you real quick. With the guns, are they? Is it realistic? Like how they? Are they? Is there any
Kinda.
bullet drop snipers? Like
There's bullet drop on the snipers, I think,
There is,
and on the arrows. But on most of the guns, like assault rifles and stuff, it's pretty arcadey. You just point it and let loose. I'm playing on PC, and like one of the things about playing on PC is that everything seems just easier than it used to on console, because it's so much easier to precisely aim a mouse than it is a control stick. So I can't speak to how it feels on a PS4 or an Xbox, but it's very satisfying on the PC.
Some people, I heard some negative reviews of. There's a PvP element to it, right?
Is there?
Is there?
There's like a co-op or.
There's a co-op.
Oh, there's a co-op. Yeah, there's a co-op.
I'm sorry, it's the co-op then. Isn't
You can play with one of your friends, but the only thing is your friend doesn't make any progress. So if Tefty were to join my game,
interesting.
he wouldn't make any progress in his game. He would keep all the money and gear he got, but he wouldn't actually progress his storyline.
I see. I see why they did that, though, because I don't think you can co-op in those cutscenes that you don't like.
It's not that I don't like the cutscenes. It just feels like, oh, okay, it's just, now it's time.
Ah, gotcha.
It's
So
like I
have you
didn't
guys-
do
have you guys
something
played with anybody?
specifically.
I didn't. No.
No, not yet. I
Okay.
plan to.
So,
some
Such
people
a
say
good
that
single
that's
player
not
experience.
yeah, like for me,
great.
like I appreciate co-op, but all games, if there's a single player, I want to first experience the single player by myself in the story and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
But
Yeah.
by the way, Briar, in each county, or not county, each section, they have different ways of bringing you in.
Oh, do they? So it's not just a trank dart every time?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's similar, but they're very different stories that are happening right there, and it's cool that you can play them out of order.
Yeah, that is cool. I like how you can just kind of go wherever you want at any time and just like.
So how much time do I
like
need to play?
the loot caches in particular, like where each one is like a little puzzle.
Yeah, the prepper stashes.
Yeah, the prepper stashes. Yeah, I like those especially.
Yeah, those are cool.
How much time do I need to play this game?
I put 25 hours into it and beat it, and that's with a few side quests here and there. Yeah.
So that's not you haven't completed everything in the game.
I don't 100% games ever.
Ever.
No, I literally like even Destiny 1. There's an achievement or two that I did not get yet.
Well, when streaming too, like just focusing on the story is kind of nice because then people get to see the story. If you're off doing side quests for 40 hours, it gets kind of.
Do you feel compelled to go back? Story.
I've never done that in a game, so it's like it's a fun place to shoot stuff. Like I've thought about going back onto it off stream to just check some stuff out. If they have like an event or something, I might check that out. But typically those type of games, you play the story, you get the gear, you level up, and then you're done.
Their DLC is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's all like separate from the story and like completely different. Like it's not at all the same.
Yeah.
You're still playing a Far Cry game, but I can't remember specifically what they were. But it's like one is like.
Do you remember the 80s themed one?
Yeah, Blood Dragon.
Yeah, that was great.
I haven't played that
yet. The music in that and oh my goodness, that one was
like an 80s
really
like
good.
It's like a Jess is
Wasn't
crazy.
it initially announced as an April Fool's and then people were like, we need
this.
We need this.
And then they made it. And it was so good. They play on all of the jokes of how the games and movies used to be, and they really play on that.
Yeah, you should play it.
It's hilarious. It's good.
Yeah, I bought it and downloaded it. I'm one of these weekends I'm going to do it because it's like I think it takes like 6 hours or so. Play through it.
Yeah, it's a pretty short game.
Yeah, it's a standalone DLC. So on this one, they got 3 DLCs that are going to come out, and one's like you go to Mars. One I think you go to Vietnam. I think.
Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah,
and one's like a zombie apocalypse type of thing. So usually I'm kind of like, we'll see. But like Far Cry games, I'm like, okay, let's see this DLC. Let's see what these guys do.
It's gonna get crazy.
Right. Cool. Yeah, and so you guys have also been playing the crap out of another game that is completely different than Far Cry. That you wouldn't say there's any grind in Far Cry.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah.
There's some. There's a leveling system, like are you
Destiny 2 level grind in there?
Are you carving them?
Are you carving
taking
bosses?
their body parts?
I wish.
So
that would be disgusting.
What's Monster Hunter? We're talking about Monster Hunter. What Monster Hunter had a spring festival.
A spring festival. Yeah, the spring festival
came
out on Thursday.
And you couldn't wait to get off the podcast to go play it. Right?
It's true. I played it for 30 minutes before the podcast.
Yeah. And then you could stop talking. So tell us about it. What was it about?
So Spring Festival, it's running for 2 weeks, and they're adding some new armor that you can get, some new Palico armor. They also have it to where there's a sale that happens, so you can buy stuff for super cheap. There's also a special meal that you can get, and they're bringing back every single special quest that they had, special event quest, and you can do it during the Spring Festival. So they had one for Aloy, for example. You could dress as Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn and get her weapon. They brought that back, so you can go ahead and do that. You can also get the armor for Ryu from Street Fighter, so they brought that back as well. And they're also bringing some new event quests as well. So there's a lot to do, and every day there's a limited bounty. So in Monster Hunter, the way that it works is every week there'll be a limited bounty where you have to do something specific, and then you get a really good item at the end of it. Well, during the Spring Festival, it's every day.
Yeah.
Every day there's a limited bounty for you to do.
Yep.
Can I ask a question about the Ryu armor? Does it give you, like when you get the helmet, for instance, does it give you a headband or does it give you like his head?
It's a full armor set.
Yeah, it's
so you have to wear it as a full armor.
Yeah, it's either on or off.
So you become
so it's like a
Ryu.
reskin and you look like
Ryu
yes. from Street Fighter.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Cool. Yes.
So do you do the
Hadouken?
You can
you can Hadouken monsters. You can kill them. You can actually kill them.
You have to get an emote.
You can have a killing blow.
Yeah.
With the
You do the fire?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
There's also there's something really cool, which is a community-made weapon that has been put into the game. And it's a greatsword. It charges up. Tefty knows all about the greatsword.
Loving it.
Because Tefty uses greatswords.
All the time. It's my most used weapon.
All right, let's hear about it.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
tell us
cool.
about the
So,
weapon, Tefty.
yeah, the fact that they took a community designed weapon, put it in the game already, and it's April, like, it looks awesome. It's got jet propelled. So the back of the greatsword has jet burners. So when you charge it up, it lights up, and it's like the force is coming from the fact that there's a jet burner in the back of your greatsword.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's awesome.
It's so good.
And it's also performance-wise, stat-wise, it's really good as well.
It's a really good weapon.
So yeah, they didn't just put it in the game and be like, well, here's a novel weapon that you're never going to use. They put it in the game and like, hey, here's one of the best greatswords now that you can use.
How do you craft it?
You have to do a special event in the game. So this is part of like the spring
Cool.
event. You go in, you do the special event, you do it enough times to get the materials, then you craft the base weapon, and then you get the secondary maxed out version. Yeah,
Is it going to be available only for a limited time?
I think so.
I think
Yeah?
so, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know what also
Yeah.
is coming soon? You're going to be able to make your Palico, which is your cat, look like Mega Man.
Yes.
I need to get back into that game, man.
It's awesome.
They're
that is
doing
so
so
cool.
many good things. They're also having a DLC coming in April, so people are speculating that they're going to kind of show it or release it during this event because it's coming in April. And
Yeah,
it's
that's pretty
April.
close, right?
So, yeah, it's yeah, people are very excited. That game is awesome because they're just always adding new events for you to do, new stuff to do. Here's a new weapon, here's a new armor piece, here's a
Now,
new monster.
Let me ask
last
you:
month was a monster.
does that take you out of the lore or the feel of the game to have parts of the game inserted that are so far from
Not for me.
the concept of Monster
Monster Hunter's silly.
Yeah. Not at all.
Yeah, is it
Monster
supposed to
Hunter
be
is
that
not
way? 'Cause-
afraid to be silly and
Have
also
you played it
like,
yet, Pope?
serious.
No, I haven't at all. And so I've been watching. See, the thing is, I don't really have time to get into games. I'm a fan, right? So I like to watch streamers play. So because I don't have time to get into the game, a lot of games, they have a lot of progression to get into them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll jump on when I have 30 minutes to watch, and I'll watch somebody streaming whatever game, right? And I don't have to even be into it. Like I watch League of Legends. I don't know what the hell is going on, but it's interesting to me, right? And so I'll go in there and I'll watch other games because I know I'll never have the time to invest into playing it and getting good at it. But I like to watch good gameplay. I prefer that than watching good basketball or good football or good soccer. To me, I like to watch good video gameplay. So I'll do that, and I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. I don't feel compelled to play Monster Hunter because I guarantee you I do not have the time to invest.
You don't have 350
into-
hours to,
I got a game that I play, one game, and then and I play the crap out of it.
Minesweeper.
And
It's Minesweeper.
Toki Literature Club.
Yeah, there you go. Getting all the endings, getting the perfect
So I really
ending.
enjoy hearing you guys talk about games. I'm a fan of video games in general and how they work, and but I don't feel like I need to go off and play them.
Sure.
I feel the same way a lot of time, Pope. Is sometimes I'll hear about a game that I'm like tangentially interested in, so I'll watch like a Let's Play or if I can catch a streamer, start it. Like
Right.
I'll watch a streamer do it. But then if I'm really like if I get into the Let's Play, I'll watch the whole Let's Play and never actually play the game.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, yeah, I'm sure publishers love hearing that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's happened a bunch of times. Like I've just kind of, or a game that I started like years ago, but I never finished. I'll just like kind of try and find a Let's Play that kind of leaves off where I left off and just start up there.
That's great.
How has streaming that game been going? Because a lot of Destiny streamers have kind of moved over to that directory. Like I see a lot of guys like T-Rex. I mean, Gathalion and Broman were doing it for a while. I think they kind of moved on. You guys have both been
Char
in there a
is
lot.
there with his
Char is
6
there.
attack jewel, number 6.
Unbelievable.
What does that mean? Is that bad?
You don't
It's
have
very
to-
rare. They don't exist.
Yeah.
They're bad.
How is streaming
how
that
did he
game
get it?
been?
A lot of people who miss a grind in Destiny, a PvE grind specifically. Obviously,
Right.
there's no PvP
Yes.
in the game, so that portion of the
Right.
Destiny community isn't interested in Monster Hunter specifically.
They're at Fortnite.
Yeah, they got Fortnite.
They're in Fortnite.
That's what's going on right there. For the PvE side of people looking to create a build for their character and have progression, it really scratches that itch. It doesn't have gunplay. Well, I mean, you have a gun lance, but it's not the same, obviously, as Destiny. And it's a different format, obviously, and so on and so forth. But it scratches that gameplay loop that is very powerful.
It does.
Right? Like, you go in, you take down this monster either by yourself or with 3 other people, and then you get rewards.
How does that work? Is that randomly match made, or
it can be?
You can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The way that I think me and Tefty both usually do it is you have an ID for your session. So you can have a command in chat that when people can type in !session or whatever it is, and the ID will come up for that session. And when they're trying to matchmake, they can just join your lobby. It's like joining your lobby, essentially. And
So
then when you
have random
post,
people kind of come in and out.
yep, anyone who's in chat can just come
That's
on
really
in, whether
cool.
they're subbed, whether
That
they're
is very
viewers,
cool.
whether it's
Yeah.
their first time
that's
they're
a
playing.
great thing for
It's
you guys.
actually amazing for that. There's been a lot of people that have joined the community for the first time, and they've hunted with us, and then they stick around, and they're really enjoying being a part of the community in general. So it's really fun to have that interaction of not having to sit here and invite people. People can come and go as they please.
Way better.
I'll have they will be posting quests, and they'll be playing together, and I'll be playing with other people. It's really good for that.
Yeah, it's
How
awesome.
long-
At first, I thought the Monster Hunter way of networking was like confusing, strange,
Old school and weird.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Now that I've used it enough, I really wish games like Destiny would incorporate something like this, where you can post a hub type of like tag type of thing, like an ID session, and then the people that want to play just join up, like they come and go, and then you can post a quest, be like, I want to do these strikes, join up, and the first people to join up are in it. Like.
Yeah.
It was really frustrating. I think it still is if you're new to the game and you're trying to get through the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really fucking hard.
Because you have to watch the cutscene before people can join you.
Yep.
Yeah, but once you get through the story, it seems like a
Then
lot of
it's
those
great.
issues,
Yeah, they're gone.
How's the community? Is the community pretty supportive? Is
That's a
it
good question.
coming out away from the Destiny? Not coming away from the Destiny community, but
Sure.
being used to the Destiny community. Like, what's the community like in chat and in the directory?
Yeah, they're very, like, in a lot of ways, very similar in the sense that they're passionate about the mechanics of the game, and they want to talk about the mechanics of the game, talk about the
builds and best greatsword, best bow, what build they made with that. It's
bad RNG, like a lot of similar things that you hear about from Destiny as well. Like, this didn't drop. I don't know why it doesn't drop. Like, it's a PvE community that's very passionate about builds. So a lot of it transfers over.
It does.
Yeah.
How long is this Spring Festival going to go? 2
weeks, I believe.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And then during those 2 weeks, you can get stuff that will quite possibly could go away. Wasn't there included in the Spring Festival? I saw something about Final Fantasy. Isn't there like characters or something that
Was there?
that you can? Is it Final Fantasy? There's different
It was Devil May Cry.
Oh, yeah.
Devil May Cry. Okay,
They're
I'm so
having
sorry.
so it's a charge blade that we're gonna get from that, where it's basically an invisible shield and a sword, and you can have the emote where you fire the guns, and you can.
Nice.
There's gonna be some sweet final kill images with that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really good. And also, there's gonna be a outfit for the handler, so she's the person that kind of goes along the story with you and gives you quests and stuff. She can be Chun-Li. So that's exciting.
I like how they
sounds
just
really
let that
creative.
be silly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I
they
love
just let
that.
it go.
It's
Whatever.
awesome.
It's like with Tekken, right? When you make a character in Tekken, for example, you can put a diaper on your character. You can give him like a little spinny hat. I love it when people just go crazy. Developers are like, just go make weird stuff and make it fun and silly.
Yeah, let people express themselves in the game. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what's amazing is that they keep on having content seemingly weekly. I think every week there's been something, whether it's like a small quest or here's a new monster that suddenly adds a whole new set of armor and weapons. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really good. I love
How many
I'd love
hours
to
have you guys
see-
put
do
into
that.
it?
I think of
How
it
many hours have you put into
200 and
Monster Hunter?
250?
Let's be honest here. Do we need an intervention?
She's literally trying
What's
to
your
answer you.
HR?
I think I'm at HR 1, almost 170. Because what I've been doing as well is helping people who are doing like Pancrathian. A lot of people get stuck on Pancrathian.
Yeah.
So I've been like, yeah, join the session. I'll help you out. Let's do it. So that's been really fun, actually. Because I don't necessarily need anything else.
Well,
So just helping
attack
people
gems.
has been really fun. Well, I've lived my life without one, and I've made builds without them. I don't need it.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not going to drop. It's not going to happen.
No, it's
It
not.
doesn't exist.
I've got 350 hours in the game.
Yep.
No attack gem.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means that sounds horrible. I don't know what that means, but it sounds
bad.
just miserable.
It's bad, Pope.
It's bad news.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Well, you guys combined are like 500 hours of this game. That's crazy. Well, so you got a chance, Tefty, to play a new game,
An old
Newish.
new game.
Yeah.
an old new game
Yep.
that's out on PS4. What other consoles is? We're talking about Tera, right? And what other consoles is it on?
So it started out on PC, free to play, and this was like in 2011, 2012, and it's more of like action combat MMORPG. So it's less cooldown simulator and more like combos when you're playing, which is cool.
Okay.
So it started on PC. They just recently released it for consoles as of this week of us recording this, and I got approached for a sponsorship. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I'd be interested in playing this anyway. So make some extra money playing it. Cool. And check it out. And I got to play it last night, and it was actually a lot of fun. And it plays pretty well on console. Apparently, the game wasn't really optimized on PC either. So you're still going to have hitches and problems, even on like, I guess the main town area has graphic problems when you're on PC on a beast rig. So you can imagine on console, it gets pretty choppy and so on and so forth. But the overall experience and like leveling up a character and so on and so forth is it was cool. I dug it actually, and it's free to play both on Xbox and PS4 right now. So a whole bunch of people who don't have PC rigs have access to a free to play action RPG MMO that has a good grind to it.
It looked
Yeah,
to
that's
me
great.
when I was watching you play it. It looked to me like had the imagery or when I see people playing WoW.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's more like anime WoW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, your character was like had wings that were on fire.
That's
Or,
because
like,
they gave
they're
me
dropping-
they gave me the Ultimate Founders Pack, which has those wings.
Okay, and so your character, whenever she stopped, she was like,
Yes.
she had like a very sensual position she put herself in. So
I'm getting more interested every
They've got a lot of boob jiggle physics in there. So
Yeah,
Wonderful.
They had this cutscene where these people were like marching into battle, and this woman is at the front of the phalanx is basically wearing nothing but just a bustier, and her
It's
it looks like they
intimidation
spent a lot
armor.
of time. They spent a lot of time with the physics of her boobs. Is what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. We got to.
She was walking, and they were perfectly like in sync.
Got to get them
Just
real.
like-
Suddenly I have the urge to go play Dead or Alive.
Yeah, that's yep.
Or I could just watch the movie. A masterpiece, by the way.
Would you, Tefty? Would you?
man.
So you said you had a sponsored
yeah.
stream to play it, but would you go back and play it?
Yeah, I think so. I did a dungeon and it was fun. And there's like a lot of loot options in there. Like I really enjoy when a game gives you like rings, necklaces, earrings, and all that stuff. In addition to like boots, gloves, chest piece, all that.
Yes.
Like I find that stuff very interesting because I've always been a huge fan of Diablo. Diablo had those aspects to
Yes.
it. The thing about Diablo is it's also kind of like a cooldown simulator. Yeah. Which I don't mind specifically, but it's like do this skill, do this skill, do this skill, so on and so forth.
Have you ever played Diablo on the PS4?
Yeah, it's closer to an action RPG. It is.
Yeah. I almost prefer it on PS4 than the PC version. I own both, and having the having the character controlled by a joystick as opposed to clicking where you want it to go, to me, made that game more fun.
Yeah, it's same.
That's very interesting. Yeah,
So
that's very
Tera is doing a similar thing. I thought all the mapping on the controller was going to be really confusing, but actually it's really smart. So you can have access to all those MMO type of things via additional mapping on the controller. So you can like hold a button and it maps everything else on the controller to something else. So yeah, and then there's also
interesting.
Also wheels and everything for it.
I would actually love to see Diablo bring controller support to the PC version of the game.
Same.
Like,
that would be good.
I don't understand. It's to me, it's a preferable way to play it. You're right. It does feel like a cooldown simulator sometimes, but it's like just being able to control your character with a joystick. It just feels so much more natural.
It feels like you're controlling the character and not like dictating where they go.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly. So on Tera, they do this combo system, and like in Diablo, it's like you do this move, you do this move, you do this move, that move's ready again, you do that move again. It's a lot like Warcraft, from what I've heard. I haven't played Warcraft, so don't know. But with this one, or with Tera, you'll do like an opening move that's a melee, and then it will have a prompt for you to hit the button again to perform another one of your moves, and then you can keep on chaining those as you level up. So as you unlock, as you unlock your character's abilities, you can create custom combos and chain those combos together. You just have to have an opener, and then those additional abilities have the option to be strung together.
How are they monetizing?
There's like in-game currency that you can purchase, I believe. And you can.
What do you buy with that?
I'm not sure actually. I didn't look into it, but like you can obviously get like a founders pack for I don't know how much. My ultimate founders pack I think is like 150, but that's like the top, and it gives you like $100 worth of in-game currency. So I'm not sure what you can buy with that stuff. Honestly, didn't really look into that. I was more like, let's see how the game plays. It actually plays really well on console.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, there seems to be like a focus on old games coming back to new, right? And getting a chance to have those audiences see a new version of it. But rather than remaster God of War, they're giving us a whole new one.
Well, they already remastered God of War.
That's right.
I know.
Like they literally just did that.
No. Never mind that. I had a segment.
But we're getting a new one.
We're getting a new one to remastering God of War 3.
And they just gave us a trailer that, but to be honest with you, it's making me want to play the game. I don't know. I've never played a God of War before,
Pope,
but
I'll tell you
looks
what.
phenomenal.
I'll tell you what, Pope. I could not picture myself playing another God of War. Like I played the first 3. I think I missed Ascension. I think I missed the PSP or PS Vita one. But I was like, I liked them. I liked God of War 1. I liked God of War 2. I like God of War 3. But I was like, done. Like, okay, that's enough. And then I saw the trailer at E3. Was it last year or the year before they showed the trailer for God of War? It might have been the year before, right? The first time they showed that game off, and it was so different. Like, you'd still see Kratos, right? You still see that main character, but now he's got a son. He's in kind of like a Norse mythology area. He's like an older, wiser, like kind of like worn down Kratos who's now got a child he's taking care of and trying to teach, but you know he's the God of War. He's not a father, right? So it's like you can see like this kind of like internal struggle. Like, do I hit him because he fucked up, or do I just try and like be patient and teach him? Like, oh my God, they totally sold me right from the get go. And now you see the trailer, and it's got weapon progression, you got character progression. It looks so good. This game is going to be,
and the environment is gorgeous.
Well, let's break down everything they showed. What about those that you said the environment's gorgeous, but like it's like set pieces where you have these. It looks like set pieces where you have these battles, but is it open world?
No, I don't think so. I would imagine it's going to feel like an Uncharted game in that way, where you have these really lush environments that you can walk around in, but it's not going to be like a big open world. I guess Uncharted 4 had some open world stuff, but
so we're looking at a straight campaign sequence. You're going into specific missions that you play through sequentially.
They did say that there's not going to be a load scene in the whole game from the time you start to the time you finish.
Awesome.
Which is exciting.
It's not going to be like missions. It's going to be like you just start this journey, and unless you stop to go eat lunch, it's just going to go. All right. You
can't wait.
That's really, I can't wait for that. That's a big deal. That it really is. To just fluidly go throughout the whole story, and it's not like, oh, here's loading into the mission or into a hub or into
interesting.
You get a little plane icon on a map. Okay, we're flying to Greece now.
I am super excited
enemies
about that.
Sorry, Steph.
The God of War series is one of those games when I played it, like it was the first time for me to really have like a quick time event matter in a game because usually like the finishers in God of War are all quick time based. So like you're doing combat, you're doing this craziness. It feels very cinematic and violent at the same time. And then you finish off some giant beast, and it's a quick time event. And usually I'm kind of like quick time events, but with God of War, I'm like, yes, I want to see what happens with this event. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that evolution in this one as well because I'm sure they're going to have those giant.
I remember, was it 2 or 3 where you go up against Zeus?
I don't remember.
I don't remember which one it was, but the quick time event had to be like 30 seconds long. It was like boom, 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 boom. It was like it took me probably 30 times to get that quick time event right. Oh my god, it was crazy.
But it was epic.
Well, explain what a quick time event is.
So
it's like button prompts on screen that you got to hit like quickly in time.
After you've done enough damage to a monster or an enemy or a boss, then it presents the opportunity to do the quick time event for just like I said, the sequence of buttons to be inputted.
Imagine like finishers from
I got it.
Mortal Kombat. Yeah, all of a sudden you're like ripping Medusa's head off and like pooping down her throat. Like that's gonna.
He just pulls down Trow and drops it right in her neck. Okay, I get it.
Deuce achieved.
But something that I saw in the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say in this trailer they showed off a troll and they were talking about the trolls in the game and they said that these are actual characters from Norse mythology.
Oh, that's cool.
Like they tie into that mythology, the trolls now. So that's really exciting. I really love history and stuff like that, and when it's grounded in some kind of mythology or ancient history, I get really excited. So I'm excited to see what they do with that, with the trolls.
Apparently they, according to the trailer, they developed a language for them, and they're actually saying something that if you were a troll, you would be able to understand. And so they're talking to each other.
Apparently Kratos can't understand the language either. He can't read or talk it, but the kid can. So all that information, that's the kid's use in this game. Is he's going to be able to, he's going to be your source of like what the hell is going on here.
Translator.
They're all different, cool. And they all battle you differently apparently.
Yes.
So that looks really cool. I might watch it to see if how you guys are liking it, and then pick it up if it grabs me. But
well, Tefty, you said a good sign for sure was that their reviewers are allowed to release their reviews like a week before it comes out.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that's ballsy.
Yeah, early. Yep.
That really is a week before. If it comes out and everyone's like, "This game sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that ruins it.
Gives it a 6 out of 10. That's not going to go over so good. You didn't see any God of War over there at IGN, did you, Pope?
There was a lot of people talking about IGN, or there's a lot of stuff around there about God of War. So
yeah, peeking in around any corner, seeing any unreleased games over there.
See any marks that they gave it out of 10?
They had a whiteboard with a bunch of stuff written on it, and I was trying to pull out my phone to screenshot it. I'm just kidding. No, I did. They did have something interesting, which I thought was great. It was like a game cabinet, and it was literally like every game that they get sent copies of the game, right? And there's like a checkout process, but there was like 15 copies of each game in this big bookshelf thing, and you could just grab any game. They had Far Cry 5, they had all PlayStation, Xbox, just a ton of them, and all new games and stuff like that. And that, I guess that's maintained or whatever, and anybody in the studio can walk up and grab one and take it home with them. That's cool. Something. So it was. I got to stuff a few into my bag before I left. So
nice.
I'll have Far Cry 5 to play,
nice.
A couple unreleased games that they said were like demo. I don't know what that is.
Watch PopeBear stream on Sunday.
Yeah, guys. Exclusive.
I'll be playing God of War on Sunday, so let's go. Yeah. Well, we hit an hour.
We certainly did. That's an hour.
We did. Actually, we did. Yeah.
On the podcast.
On the recording.
Yeah.
Yes. The no name.
Can we go 2 hours? My wife wants me to do yard work after this.
And I got to move my house.
For the patrons.
For the patrons.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I know there's a U-Haul outside, and I still need to load it with the other half of the house and break down this setup.
Moving is awful. Can I just say, moving is a terrible experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I almost died.
I'm with you there, Watts. I'm with you there. I'm moving.
How did you almost die?
Yeah.
So what we were trying so we were trying to have stuff set up in the house before we moved in, right? And we wanted to have like the rug and stuff down before the movers came and slapped the couch on it. So there was a few things that we wanted to have going before we made the full move over. So internet and desk and computer, and so there was lots of back and forth between the apartment.
Let me guess. You ran into your bedroom to go dive into your bed, and there's no bed there.
No bed. No bed.
Right on the floor.
No bed.
Go ahead,
Done.
Yeah, so it's just lots of back and forth between the apartment and the house, taking stuff, bringing stuff back, and then cleaning the apartment was awful as well because they want it to be, it's cleaner than you'd normally make it. Like when you're just doing your everyday clean.
They want it to be move-in ready. They don't want it to go in and clean.
They want it to be moving ready. Otherwise, they're going to charge you money, and I don't want to give them money. So that was also terrible.
Yeah, I've often had to paint apartments as I'm leaving.
Ooh.
We painted part of the door because Bella was like scratched the wood. Mm-hmm. So we had to sand it down and putty it and then paint it. It looks pretty good. They don't know about it, so it's
I don't understand landlords because literally I got an email saying that I needed to do all these things before I moved out. One of them was to have the carpets professionally clean. I saw the landlord outside today. He was showing another apartment in the building, the apartment, and I went out to him and I said, "Hey, I got your email. I just wanted to ask you a question about it. It seems sort of boilerplate, so I wanted to, find out if you actually want us to clean the carpets." And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." I talked to the maintenance, the repair people, and they said that they were demoing the house. They're remodeling the house. And he goes, "Yeah, but you should still get it cleaned." I'm like,
not if they're remodeling the house.
They're remodeling the house.
If they're ripping out the carpet.
They're ripping out the carpets. And he's like, "But I still want you to have it clean."
Well, maybe he just thinks that your funk is so bad in that carpet that no person would want to come in and demo that carpet.
He thinks he's gonna. He's actually like anticipating trying to save it and use it for the next. And I looked at him and I said, "Do you understand? When my wife moved in, the carpet was not new, so it had been there for a few years, and we've been living there for 6 years. So that means that carpet is 9 years old, and it's had 3 cats and 2 dogs living in that thing for 9 years. I think it's time that it gets replaced."
I'm gonna go with your landlord here.
No, come on.
No.
Take a good washing.
Whoever moves in.
Good washing.
Clean that carpet.
Just a good, just. Oh my God. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to be doing today.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
moving's not fun.
Yeah, I just moved 2 months ago, essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm
Tefty
still kind of organizing.
Unpacking is awful.
Convince my wife to move.
I'll tell you, I moved into a much bigger place, probably about over twice the size of where I live now, and it has a yard and a garage, and with the kids' room, the baby's room, and
Office.
And an office.
Nice.
There it is.
So I got a game room,
Nice.
which I'm gonna set up, and it's gonna be nice.
That's
It's gonna
great.
be nice to put something up.
It's gonna be awesome.
Because right now, I'm in my kids' room. There you go.
There you go, everybody.
Exposed.
I'm in my kids' room, and it's
That is a really cool technique. Just bringing up the screen right there.
Yeah.
Yep. Briar's the same thing.
Nice. That's great.
I feel like
So-
I've seen too much reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a little too much.
That teaches people to shut off the stream or shut off the video too early. They miss the good stuff at the end.
That's true.
Speaking of the end, I think it's the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
The end.
Once again, I'd like to thank the patrons that help make this possible. You guys are phenomenal. It's without that support that we wouldn't be able to do this and make the transition over to our YouTube and Twitch page. If you haven't, if you're watching this on one of our other channels, know that you should be subscribing and checking out our YouTube channel. It's DCP_live. And you'll see the links in the description of this wherever you're watching it. Go over there and follow it, because in like 4 or 5 months, we're going to be transitioning all the videos over there. and you won't be able to find it on Briar's and Tefty's or Watts's or Patrick's channel. It'll have to go there. So make sure to follow that so you don't lose track of where we're going to be. And follow us on Twitter at DCP_live. We cover a lot of stuff. Today we talked about Off Topic or other games, but we also do, if you're listening to us and didn't know that we do a podcast on Destiny, we do that every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv.
Also, tell us how you found this podcast.
Yes, and we want to know.
If you don't know
about the Destiny one, put in the comments how you
Tell
heard
us the
about
story.
us. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
How did you
that would be
roped
amazing.
into a Patreon without having listened to the podcast that it's there to support?
Well, no, this goes live also.
It goes live.
Oh, it does. Oh, I thought this was Patreon only.
No.
Patreon early.
Yeah, Patreon
Early.
It was actually a really big point. It was a really big point of our patrons.
Geez, I would have taken it much more seriously then. My bad. Can we re-record this?
No. So
Come on, guys. I really don't want to do that yard work.
they said they were very adamant about this. This is the value of the Patreon is that they didn't want to exclude or be a barrier, a money paywall to content. And so they wanted to help us out. It's cool to get stuff early, but nothing that the patrons help support us to create is excluded from the public. So we release these on Monday, and they're available to the public on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Do we sign out? Do you do? Yeah.
Might as well.
Let's do sign outs. Okay, go.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on multiple podcasts, including Destiny Community Podcast, the Revolver Podcast, the Off Topic Podcast. I'm thinking about starting 3 to 7 more podcasts right now. I mean, you know what? Anything to get out of this yard work,
set.
I will do right now. Just help me, please.
I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. You can catch my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. Typically start around 6 p.m. Pacific time, and have a YouTube channel as well. It gets some love every now and then.
And I am Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube at Miss 5000 Watts.
And this has been PopeBear. You can find me moving my house for the rest of the day. Well, you can find me on Twitter at PopeBear and lurking in these guys' channels. So thank you very much, obviously, for hanging out this long and watching it. We'll be back soon with more Let's Plays and podcasts for you to watch this week.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.